Notice that, well, intelligence would have destroyed a plane in Russian. Both Russians and Ukrainians have intensified their attacks on each other in recent hours. Let's discuss the details. Days, hours, they've hit each other hard, so let's get into the details. First of all, let's look at this image. Let's put it here. This image shows a Russian plane, a Sukhoi 27V. I understand that this one is for training, I think, although they have the same capabilities and obviously the same cost. But according to the reports, let's see. Let's go into detail. Here I have the details of the attack that happened in that place. Ukraine confirms the long-range nighttime attack in the Russian region of Sevastopol. Impacting. Well, there are two attacks. One is on this Sevastopol, which is a factory. Yes, right now we're seeing more images of what's happening. The Ukrainian Security Service said their attacks disrupt production and diminish the enemy's military capabilities. The bombing damaged two crucial buildings, one with high-value mechanical tools and another with radio-electronic device workshops. Russian media only reported a fire. Just a fire, no casualties, everything's calm and fine. And what Ukraine reports is different, and what you see in the images is a completely different story. But that usually happens, right? And the case of this plane we're seeing is the SV, which was destroyed the previous night at the Armavir military airfield. This is in Krasnodar, Russia. We've already seen this place. The information was directly confirmed by Ukrainian Defense Intelligence, the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, which stated the following. The Sukhoi 27 UV aircraft was destroyed in Armavir, Russia, it said in a statement. Well, it's a bit brief, honestly, something with a very, very military style, right? And according to local witnesses, communications were interrupted around the airfield. After the incident, the Russians blocked communications to prevent more attacks of that kind, so they made that adjustment, let's say, afterwards as well. Well, this was seen. This is another attack on a building. There we can see it. As I was already mentioning, well, this is another Ukrainian attack within this idea of targeting areas where weapons are being made, right? Now, this part is targeting Ukraine. Here's another image showing that. It's the same building, just seen from another angle, and I think we have another one over there, which is also from another angle, same building as well, right? What about Russian attacks on Ukraine? What has happened in that direction? Well, let's get to that. I'm sure he'll report on that too. Russia launched a new large-scale air attack against Ukraine early this morning, Saturday. I'm sure they'll report on it. Key regions for Ukraine were hit: Dnipro, Kharkiv, and Zaporizhzhia. Ukrainian authorities confirmed the use of ballistic missiles, kamikaze drones, and guided bombs that were reportedly being deployed offensively, combined and, well, apparently coordinated, right? Because the attack happened almost within minutes of each other, apparently, right? Now, according to what can be seen, this is the area where they have been. Sorry, there it is. These are the areas that have been attacked. These are the ones. It's an attempt. They've been gathering people around here. The attacks aim to weaken Ukrainian positions. To bring in these soldiers and start making new trenches in this area later on, that's the idea, let's say. The Ukrainian Ministry of Internal Affairs reported that the attack affected the Sumy line from Kharkiv and Dnipro, and Sumy, further north, was also targeted for an attempted breach. The area, Governor Sheki Lisak reported that there were 2 dead and 5 injured, and the mayor of Dnipro stated that one of the victims was found in a destroyed residential building. Who didn't go to the shelters and, well, lost their life there, right? During the attacks, it is not recommended to stay in buildings, especially not on the upper floors, as the Ukrainian authorities themselves have pointed out. The attack also caused fires in vehicles and at a shopping center, according to what has been reported among all the attacks. The governor of Zaporizhzhia, Ibarra Fedorov, the governor of Zaporizhzhia, also made a statement. He said the following. Drone strikes hit residential homes and an agricultural warehouse, also causing fires. Despite defensive systems, only 7 missiles and 26 drones were intercepted. This calls into question the adequacy of the Ukrainian air defense shield, which lately has not been able to handle so many massive attacks from Russia. It has been very difficult to be able to protect and put up that shield. The shield has been against the Russian soldiers, but not against the drones, and even less against the missiles, which has been very complicated in these last few months. It's already an issue, since it's becoming more problematic, especially because of the lack of defense in that area. Let's move on to other important topics as well. Notice that in the Iran war, this is part of what's happening in the war. But over there between, well, not a war because officially it isn't, but the conflict between Thailand and Cambodia. Several very interesting things. First, they say they're surrounded by water, but honestly, that's not true. It's not true that they're surrounded by water. The United States says it, Trump says it. It's just that they're already surrounded by water because I talked to them and told them to calm down, and they did, and that's not real, is it? These images are of the tanks that are currently arriving at the border of Thailand towards Cambodia. Alright, that's it. This is a report from the Sin Defender, one of those intelligence reports that are already looking at these images that are being seen right now of tanks. There we are seeing and they keep going and going and going. The tanks keep passing by. They say they observe the M60A 3 Patton tanks of the army, the Thai army, moving toward the border checkpoints in Phoi Phet, Cambodia. In other words, they're heading toward Cambodia. This is happening right now. But that's not all. It was also seen. This is a kind of armored tank. It's not really a tank, but officially it's a BTR-3E1. That's the name. I call them armored vehicles, maybe I'm wrong, but I've seen them called that on military sites where I usually confirm the names of these tanks and armored vehicles and all that. When you see it, it doesn't have tracks. Notice, it has separate wheels, and inside it has several things. This, by the way, is Ukrainian. This is in Thailand, but they're made by Ukraine. Don't think they're new, they're from 2007. The Thais bought them from the Ukrainians in 2007. We have to remember that Ukraine also has a long history of weapons manufacturing. That's why it's also been relatively easy to manufacture armored vehicles, robots, marine robots, dog-like robots, robots with wheels, and other types. What does Ukraine do? And the drones? These are also interesting. They have several features. One is that they have like a huge hollow space inside where a lot of people, troops, can fit inside. But besides that, this armored vehicle has the possibility. It has several ways to attack or shoot, right? From what is known, it can even have, well, it's there. They can equip it with missiles. It has the capability to be fitted with missiles, but I don't know if they have them or not. It also has artillery. It has a small cannon, right? This one has several features and can be easily equipped with various things, making it highly adaptable. Well, these have also been seen inside Thailand heading towards Cambodia because that also catches my attention. And I'll tell you something extra right away, which basically disproves the statement Trump made about there being a truce. It completely disproves it. There's an ongoing bombing in the same region, not in Cambodia or Thailand. Stay alert to our destination. First, let's take a look at the image for a moment. That's the moment when a bombing is reported. There were reportedly 10 shots fired toward Laos, a separate country from the speaker's location. The speaker is confused about how and why this occurred. Let's discuss the details, as this could escalate in another direction. According to the reports, well, there's Laos, there's Thailand, and over here is Cambodia. So the conflict zone is this. This piece is the conflict zone. But apparently, I don't know if by mistake or because of the bombings, they hit a rural area inside Laos. What I'm talking about right now is still developing, so Laos hasn't made any comment. It makes me suspect that maybe that's not the case. I mean, maybe it's not happening. So, should we leave it in quotation marks? Because what the people from Cambodia are reporting is that Thailand fired towards Laos, and supposedly, I don't know if it was a mistake or not. But Cambodia kind of wants Laos to get involved in favor of Cambodia, for Laos to help Cambodia, and this would be a justification. On the other hand, Thailand says that it wasn't them and that it's the other way around, that it's false information meant to cause problems. And what surprises me is that Laos, at least up until we started the live stream, hadn't responded. They may have responded by now, but we hadn't received any response until this point. I also find that very interesting. Saying it's already a truce might be an overstatement. You still can't see it, you see movements. Actually, it seems like this is going to escalate, but let's wait tonight or for several days to see if it's true that things are going to calm down. Donald Trump loves to say that he's like the peacemaker, right? According to him. He talks on the phone, they say, let there be peace, and peace happens, supposedly. Well, India denies Trump's claim of receiving calls from him discussing the India-Pakistan conflict. But, well, maybe giving Trump the benefit of the doubt in this case, after he said that, the conflict didn't continue. So maybe he may have had a point, who knows? Let's look at this situation. Let's see what happens between Cambodia and Thailand, and let's see if we can confirm what Trump is saying right now. Or if it's just talk. We'll see about that later. Also, well, on other topics that are drawing attention, this has been happening, what's it called? Well, this movement, let's say this seismological event, that earthquakes are still being reported in this area of Kamchatka. If you want, at night we can do the recap so we don't go on too long and can move on to the comments. But there is still movement, especially in this part of Russia, where there have already been scares with these tsunamis, which luckily turned out to be just a few small extra waves, nothing strong. Let's move on to the comments then.